So this video is very late. I was sick over the weekend. Also, I'm pressed for time right now, so this is gonna be a short video, especially since it's already so late. There's no real point in me even making it, but I feel like I kind of have to. So the Texans defeated the Rams 24-20 to go 2-0 in the preseason. As you know, around here, preseason scores to me do not matter. What matters is your play on the field, especially in the early stages of the game, because that's when the starters are playing. And my analysis on these starters: the defense looked great, the offense looked terrible. And the offense looking terrible is very, very bad because the Rams don't play a lot of starters in the preseason just in general. So not only did they look bad, but they looked bad against bad competition. Now Davis Mills' completion percentage, he was 10 for 17 for 96 yards, a touchdown. So right off the bat, you're like, oh, that doesn't look too bad. But he had a lot of missed throws. He looked flustered at times. Just didn't look very good, honestly, at all in this game. The other quarterbacks, Kyle Allen went 9 for 12, 71 yards and a touchdown. And then Jeff Driscoll went 3 for 3, 17 yards and a touchdown. Every quarterback threw a touchdown, so that's pretty cool. The running backs. So, Marlon Mack started out the game again with 8 carries for 29 yards. Royce Freeman had the most yards with 30. All these backs really had about the same amount of yards. Dare Ogunbowale had 27 yards. Jeff Driscoll, who is not a running back, had 24 yards. Huge third down run to make it 4th and 1 near the end of the game. Make that really easy to pick up because it was like 3rd and 17, something like that. Like I said, I can't really remember because this game was literally like 4 days ago. None of the receivers really had too crazy of stats, although Nico Collins did have an insane catch in the end zone for his lone touchdown of the day. He had 50 yards receiving. Philip Dorsett also had a really, really great catch on the sideline the play before Nico Collins' touchdown. He ended up having 48 on the day. Mason Sheck caught the game-winning touchdown. He's some backup tight end that won't make the team, so I'm not going to go too into that. Tegan Quintoriano had his first NFL touchdown, the rookie out of Oregon State. And let's get to the defense. So, obviously, this is Derek Stingley's much-anticipated season debut. And he did not disappoint. He played 12 snaps. He was only targeted twice, which I thought was interesting. That the backup quarterback for the Rams did not want to challenge Derek Stingley. It tells you a lot about him already. But he only had 2 targets. He did allow 1 completion, which isn't entirely his fault, but it still does go down as his fault. But then he had a really, really, really good pass breakup on the second target towards him. So I was happy to see that from Sting. Just happy to see him get out there and make a play. Also, something I didn't mention in my last video was Jalen Petrie is going to be very, very special. He was flying around last game, making loads of tackles, even in just the 2 drives he played. This game, I'm trying to find his stats. I don't really think he did too much, but he didn't look as good as he did in the first game, but that's not that big of a deal, honestly. Camu Gurgé-Hill was flying around making a lot of tackles. These linebackers flying around and make a lot of tackles in this Lovie Smith defense. We get a lot of pressure in this defense. I just don't love running his own defense a lot, though, because you give up a lot of chunk yardage, a lot of easy completions, and it frustrates me to watch it. But there's only so much I can do, which is really nothing, honestly, because I'm not on the team, obviously. So that's your little recap. Stick around. I'm thinking a couple of days. Let's see, today's Tuesday. In 2 days we play the 49ers. I don't know if I'll drop the video recapping that night of or the next day. Probably the next day on that Friday. So I'll see you then.